about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know.
A farewell message from the commanding officer Big Red, Team Triton, Team VUP-19. Thank you. It has been my absolute privilege and honor to serve with this team for the past 2 years. When we began this journey in early 2020, Triton was just executing its first operational mission in Indo-PACOM and our squadron home bases were on separate coasts. VUP-19 was in its 12th year of a 6-month deployment to CENTCOM. And the distance only increased under COVID. Through it all, you remained resolute and repeatedly set records, from the first deployment of MQ-4C to foreign soil, to the reposition and first execution out of NS Mayport, Florida. To the last U.S. Navy mission flown in Afghanistan, supporting Operation Allies Refuge. Witnessing the personnel of VUP-19, the U.S. Naval Reserve, PMA 262, Northrop Grumman, L3. And so many uniformed and civilian government servants close rank is the most promising feat for the future of our national defense. Sarah and I would like to extend a special thank you to all of the Big Red families. Without your continued love, dedication, and support, this team could not remain on the front, standing the watch. I wish you Godspeed as you prepare to bring IFC-3 and VUP-19 home and deploy IFC-4 to Indo-PACOM, EUCOM/AFRICOM, and CENTCOM over the coming years. There is no team more capable, more ready, to be both the first in and the last out. It has been the honor of a lifetime to have served with each and every one of you. BX Conlon CDR-USN.
Oh yeah, take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Be free. Be free with me. Be free.
The change of command ceremony you are witnessing today is not prescribed specifically by U.S. Navy regulations, but rather is an honored product of the rich heritage of naval tradition. The heart of the ceremony is the formal reading of official orders by the relieving officer and the officer to be relieved. Command passes upon utterance by the relieving officer, "I relieve you, sir." The officer being relieved responds, "I stand relieved." This simple procedure is duplicated hundreds of times daily throughout the navies of the world as each watch officer passes responsibility to his or her relief in the conduct of each ship's routine. On behalf of Commander Conlon and Commander Williams, thank you for attending. Additionally, Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19 would like to welcome all our guests who have joined us today. The command would also like to extend an extra special welcome to retired Vice Admiral Bruce Lindsay and render special thanks to the Naval Station Mayport Color Guard and the Navy Band, Southeast. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for the arrival of the official party, the parading of the colors, the playing of our national anthem, and the invocation. Military members, cover. Bosun's mate, post the side, boys. Attention honors. Commander, United States Navy, arriving. Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19, arriving.
Naval Support Activity Washington, arriving. Patrol and Reconnaissance, Wing 11, arriving.
Color Guard, parade the colors.
Left. March on. March. Ready. Halt. Left. Face. Present. Arm.
Navy Band Southeast will now perform the national anthem. Color Guard, retire the colors.
Charlie colors high, sir. Return. Arm. Right. Face. March on. March. Forward. March. Left. 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 Left.
Father Darius will now offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, fountain of life, and source of all goodness, as we gather here, we ask that you would give us a sense of the sacred moment that defines this ceremony. May our presence and our prayers rightly honor the career and service of the Commander Stephen Williams to this country and to the United States Navy. We ask through this change of command, you would remind us of the honor, courage, and commitment that we are all called to live out of our daily lives. May the sentiments expressed and the words of inspiration conveyed to us this day remind us of the importance of our tasks, the meaning of our mission, and the power of your purpose. Be with us now. This we ask in the name of Him who lives and reigns forever and ever. Amen.
Guests, please be posted. Post the side, boys.
Detail. Right or left. Face. Out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Brian Conlon, Commanding Officer, Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19.
All right, before I get started, I just want to say he was a hotshot young pilot going a million miles an hour with his hair on fire, always going against the grain. Some might say he was a little maverick. I'm sorry, folks. I was reading from the wrong script. I promise that will be the last Top Gun reference. Before I introduce our guest speaker, I need to take a minute to acknowledge that there are a lot of folks whose flights have been canceled in the last 24 hours, and also what this gentleman's been through in the last 24 hours. Last night, Captain Burns left his house up in Washington, D.C., drove over to Ronald Reagan to pick up a flight down here, and flight got canceled. He turned around and headed up to Baltimore and was able to fly out of BWI, scrambling a flight out of there last night. That is just the kind of guy he is, that level of dedication. I have been personally blessed many times over to have this man not just as my boss, but a personal advisor. To tell you a little bit more about him, regardless if he's in Djibouti, Africa, Bahrain, Washington, D.C., wherever he goes, he frequently becomes known as Mr. Mayor. But it's not just because he's a social butterfly wearing choker whites. It's also because he's a very kind, competent, and thoughtful man. As a naval officer, a pilot, a young husband, and then as a father, I could not have asked for someone better to model, or at least aspire to be like. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Burns.
All right. Thank you, BX. To be honest, yeah, I did fly in from DC last night. No big deal. I'm a P3 pilot. We're used to cancellations all the time. We roll with the punches, new aircraft, new airfield. But thank you, Skipper. Your words humble me more than I can convey. I'm honored to be here, and we'll pretend for a few minutes that I have something worthy to say during this long overdue celebration. Commodore and Yvonne, great to see you both again. As I said a year ago, Wing 11 remains in good hands. You are in this position for a reason, and the entire MPRA community is benefiting from your leadership. Tart, girls are back. Girls, you're on deck. Right leader at the right time. The global environment is getting sporty, and we need you here. I'm still sorry we missed each other by this much in DP4 so long ago. Thrilled to see you all in your current positions. You continue to make Jacksonville the shining city on the hill for all of Maritime Patrol, and I'm truly honored to be up here with you. Command Master Chief Tim Harden, you are the Master Chief VUP needs today. Thank you for all that you have achieved on behalf of the sailors arrayed in front of us. Your hands are constantly full, and your talents have helped create the best environment on the flight line. Thanks for keeping Skipper Conlon on the right path. That job has not been easy. What? Well, I need to start over, apparently. I'm sorry. Hey, I just flew in from D.C. Boy, are my arms tired. Sorry about that. Thank you. It's like a reunion. Red Lancers everywhere. All right. Master Chief Tim Harden, God bless you. Where are you sitting? Okay. All right. I met Maintenance Master Chief Jeremy Schellenberger. Man, they're growing Master Chiefs larger these years. You and your mighty maintenance warriors have done so much to keep this new technology airborne. The many successes of this squadron that have achieved are squarely at your feet. Without your leadership, attitude, and abilities, the Triton would only be one very expensive static display, kind of like right over there. Thank you for everything you do. VX could never do it without you. Sarah, Hunter, August, 3 pillars of VX's life. You know how much you mean to him. You know how much of his larger-than-life persona depends on the strength of you, his family. You know how tough this tour has been and how much the success applauded up here on the stage is yours. You know, this journey you've all taken together continues only if you want it to. The next couple of years will be challenging in their own right, but the four of you together will continue to slay the dragons. I will continue to live vicariously through your adventures. That's for you, August. Now you, the Big Red of VUP-19, have made Jacksonville your home hive, and you've grown mightier with each passing year. Joe Opp says so. Excellence has begotten excellence. The most recent command climate survey has revealed the highest morale in quite some time. That doesn't happen overnight. The wheel of time continues to roll forward, people come and go, but your high standards remain. This past year under Skipper Conlin's tenure in Mindful Watch, the Big Red has faced adversity, challenged the status quo, and excelled in the face of persistent systemic challenges. You've cried together, you've cheered together, you've achieved more than anyone thought you could a year ago. And your achievements are many. BAMS-D flew the last official U.S. Navy mission in Afghanistan. That's historic. That's a big deal. I hope you tell the story. With your hive here, your overseas hubs, and your 2 permanent orbits, you cover 19 time zones every single day. You're almost as good as Amazon. Almost. And your stock is rising. I'll buy some. Right. Amazon. Over the past year, you've flown 97 million flight hours in direct support of national tasking. What you do every day matters. It matters. 97 million. You moved Triton, the U.S. military's largest unmanned aircraft, to Jacksonville, making this river city the hive of U.S. Navy drone activity. This is a huge deal and more than one reason why VUP-19 is a bright jewel in the crown of MPRA. Sound a little cheesy. Deal. It was not so long ago in my own career when unmanned technology was just an idea. Today you operate 3 Triton and 4 BAMS-D aircraft. I find that unimaginable. Your operating and maintenance teams have suffered the extremes from austere forward site BAMS-D calls home, very familiar, to the posh Guam Triton operating site, which ain't too bad. Brown tree snakes for all my robots. You've been nominated for the SecDef's Phoenix Award. Coincidence in the name, for excellence in maintenance and operations. Again, just like what you've done in the past 12 months, there is no one out there like you. Lastly, and perhaps more importantly, your exploits have reached the ears of young aviators, making VUP-19 truly the future of naval aviation. Have you all seen Maverick yet? Yep. That's the last. The old Admiral calls it out. In a few years, we won't have manned aviation anymore. I mean, EQ's going away. I do have skin in this game. 2 weeks ago, I was humbled when my own daughter commissioned in this Navy. Young Ensign Burns is heading to flight school in 3 weeks, but VUP is on her radar, and she is interested. Future aviators are interested in aviation of the unmanned type. Thanks to you, VUP, that future is here today. Well done. However, when I asked Skipper Conlin to encapsulate this past year, he didn't mention the myriad of operational successes. I had to pull teeth. He didn't mention the news stories nor how many of your products crossed the desks of our national leadership. He mentioned the men and women of VUP-19. He mentioned the most junior to the most salty of sailors. He mentioned the award-winning goat locker, the wardroom, the spouses and children on the home front that enabled everything you did. He was more interested in talking about the who than the what. Therein lies your leader. And now for the fun stuff. I met this kid 14 years ago. He was a caricature of life. He literally had a pet hedgehog named Mr. Butters. Mr. Butters, a pet hedgehog. Who has a pet hedgehog? Seriously. Worse, when he and Sarah moved to Sigonella, they gave Mr. Butters to my kids. It's the worst pet ever. It's nocturnal. Who buys a nocturnal pet and gives it to kids? I'm still angry about that. Oh, and then about 8 years ago, while doing his Cat 3 syllabus and learning to fly the P8, he came over to babysit. And then promptly gave 2 liters of Mountain Dew to my then 5-year-old daughter, Rhiannon. She didn't sleep for a week. Lesson learned, and many of you know this, don't let BX watch your kids. Sarah, I'm sorry, but payback is coming. I'll be coming over later with copious amounts of caffeine and sugar for the boys, and maybe another random small mammal to let loose in your living room. VX had an exceptional work ethic, laudable study habits, but a penchant to pontificate and ask the most nonsensical questions. Truly, he's been quotable his entire life. Long before, yo, buddy, to everyone. There used to be just, hey, followed by an awkward pause. VX, do you have an inside voice? The Taliban called. They've asked you to keep it down a little. I mean, seriously, the guy is loud, really loud. He never needed ICS. He just talked over the engines. And then there's hey, I got a question, to which we'd all just sigh and recognize we probably just lost another 15 to 20 minutes of our lives. Raise your hand. Participation required. Raise your hand if you've ever been caught in one of his story beds. Yeah, look at that. You're like a fly trying to get out, struggle, but he just keeps talking. And that is how a bill becomes a law. Whereas the opso is like, I just came in to have him sign the flight schedule. All right, but seriously, why does Skipper Conlon do what he does? He does it for the people in this hangar and for those you all represent outside of it. He does it for the other 99% of America that will never have the privilege of wearing a military uniform to work. His service to others for a cause greater than himself is truly the path to happiness. Some of us are lucky enough to recognize that early. Some of us learn it later in life, but it's never too late to look to your left, look to your right, and thank your shipmate for just being there. What you all do matters, Big Red. What you all do together as a squadron matters even more. Keep in mind, you are doing what has never been done before. You're trailblazers and you're pathfinders. Keep pushing the envelope. 35 years ago, when the P3 had been on service for 35 years plus, we were still learning things about the P3. You guys are at the ground opening of Triton. You are setting the stage for the next 50 years of naval aviation. What you do matters. Commander Steve Williams states, all XOs know it's really them that kept the trains on time. The wheels on the bus, the oars in sync, and the skipper off the cover of the Navy Times. Congratulations to you, to Dr. Heather, to Tyson and Tabitha on a crazy successful XO tour. You were the support VX and this squadron needed. And now you're about to do it again, be what VUP needs for another night next year. Whatever you do, take care of those around you, and especially yourself. Have fun with it. We only get one shot at 05 Command. The next move is yours. Doctor, kids, keep him in line and remind him every day what really matters. Welcome to the party, PXO, J. Kim, and Javo. And Hayun, welcome. You two, along with your children, will find that a year will pass faster than ever before in your lives. You'll wake up this time next May or June, hoping and praying that your chokers, your medals, your ribbons are all where they're supposed to be. The ketchup stains aren't noticeable anymore, and all the shoes match. Everyone knows how to get on a base, yada, yada. 2, please have fun with this. When the wing starts crawling onto your back, just smile and wait. Smile and wait. Probably won't be too hard for a guy coming from the 7th Fleet staff. Welcome. Well done. God bless you. Now, on a final personal note, I look out to each and every one of you, and I wish to offer you my thanks. I thank you on behalf of my wife, Alice, on behalf of my children, on behalf of my aging parents. You are the strength in this one link of the cable that brings our generations together. From Captain Rich Heimerle to Commodore Rob Patrick and Jim Robinson on down through the squadron, on to the next kids to sign up and swear the oath. You are the Navy my daughter has just joined. My quickly retiring generation believes in you and what you represent to our country. VUP-19 represents the finest we can bring to an uncertain future. The past few months have proven that we don't know what global event will happen next, but the past is prologue. We are deep into Cold War 2.0 and perhaps at the beginning of the next great existential conflict. There are flashpoints on every continent. There will be another pandemic. There is another hot war in Europe. We don't know just what is next, but I know that so long as the Tritons are flying, everything's going to be okay. VX, about 14 years ago, life was certainly different. I sure wish we both could have looked into a crystal ball then and see ourselves today. I had hair back then and yours was better. Hope springs eternal. Thank you for being you. Your reliability, courage, and honesty has kept me motivated. Watching Commodore Patrick promote you to 05 at the feet of the Jefferson Memorial was a perfect snapshot of your patriotism. Watching you get to this point in your career and personal life has been a study in perseverance. 'Tis a bit of hubris for me to think I had any piece of that. Back to Sarah. You and the boys are saints. Your wisdom, patience, and insight are legendary. It's a family like yours that makes all this worthwhile. Thank you for all that you have done. Today is as much about you three as it is about BX. You have done quite well, Skipper Conlon. Congratulations. You have earned every accolade. You have done this your way. You have fostered the next generation to follow behind in your footsteps. VUP is better today because of Brian Xavier Conlon. Fair tailwinds and following seas, Skipper. You shall be missed. And thank you for your time, Big Red. I now cede the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, Commodore Bowman will now present Commander Conlon with the Meritorious Service Medal. Military members, please remain seated. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal to Commander Brian Conlon, United States Navy, for service set forth in the following citation. For outstanding meritorious service while serving as the Executive Officer and Commanding Officer for Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19 from April 2020 to June 2022. Commander Conlon's superior vision and outstanding leadership resulted in the inaugural deployment and operation of the MQ-4 Triton from foreign soil. He led 425 active and reserve sailors through the execution of 3,167 mishap-free flight hours, encompassing 208 sorties in support of Indo-Pacific Command tasking. His strict attention to detail resulted in a historic 93% during the Commander Naval Air Force's Aviation Maintenance Inspection and Maintenance Program Assessment, the highest ever recorded in Commander Patrol Reconnaissance Wing 11. He led 253 government civilians, contractors, and reservists as Commander Task Group 5711, operating the RQ-4 Broad Area Maritime Surveillance Demonstrator in U.S. 5th Fleet Area of Responsibility. He established a diverse coronavirus task force overseeing the response and efforts of 660 personnel across 5 geographic locations, while executing a permanent duty station change for 206 personnel and their families from Naval Air Station Point Mugu to Naval Air Station Mayport, Florida. Commander Conlon's exceptional professionalism, personal initiative, and loyal dedication to duty reflect a great credit on him, and we're keeping the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service. For the President, L.G. Scott, Rear Admiral, United States Navy. We got a few gifts here for you, Skipper. First, on behalf of the Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19's Chief Petty Officers Mess, Command Master Chief Hardin, and Maintenance Master Chief Schellenberger, will now present Commander Conlon with the command pennant.
We're good. Good. All right. Jeremy, thank you. Welcome. All right, Tim. Yes, sir.
On behalf of the Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19's officers, Lieutenant McGowan will present Commander Conlon with the wardroom gift. On behalf of the Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19 Sal, Lieutenant Cole Flynn will present Commander Conlon with a gift from the VUP-19 Reserve Component.
Best beer out there. There's a plug for Busch Light, all right?
Not an endorsement.
Not an endorsement. That's right. Not a-
Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Brian Conlon, Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19.
First off, you guys hear me in the back? Jeremy, you got me? All right, wonderful. Navy band, that was absolutely beautiful. Okay. Folks, to Lieutenant Commander Nikki England, Lieutenant James Probst, Mike McGee, Ben Trailer, our MC, and an incredible friend of mine for over 10 years from CENTCOM, Lieutenant Commander JZ, Joey Zara, thank you very much for taking off from Delta and coming in and supporting us for a day. Side Boys and all the folks who put this together, thank you all very much. So for everyone out there, the purpose of today's event is threefold. It's to say thank you to so many people who have supported this organization, to underscore our purpose, and more importantly, to let everyone present know what an amazing man you are getting as the next commanding officer of one of the finest squadrons in military aviation. But before I get into it, I would like to please have a moment of silence to remember two incredible petty officers, Josh Kane and Eric Littleton. Thank you. Commodore Bowman, Deputy Tartaglia, Captain Burns, chaps, esteemed guest, thank you all for the opportunity to publicly offer some words from the heart. There are a lot of people in this audience who have supported me, and more importantly, the squadron, in enabling us to field what is not only the most promising intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance asset for the United States Navy, but also spearhead operations for what is undoubtedly the future of naval aviation's dominance in the maritime airspace. I'll start by thanking our friends and neighbors. I can't tell you how much it's meant to my family every time I've had to leave and you've thrown your arms around Sarah and the boys. I believe it takes a village, and your kindness has been a priceless comfort to the Conlon household. Muffy, it's very special of you to share your day with us. Thank you. And the amigos. The fishing trips have been a very welcome distraction from what is easily an all-consuming job. Judge Ferguson, I love Jacksonville. I love Jacksonville's even more. There you go. Thank you for filming. Mrs. Captain Rose Anderson, thank you very much for sharing your day with us. To the sailors, oh my God, I have joked with so many of you about the incredible amount of responsibility you have at such a young age. This is the most can-do group, and as we've previously discussed, it is unreal to think of the number of petty officer, third-class, collateral duty inspectors we have here. For the rest of the crowd, that means that, for instance, the guy reinstalling the Rolls-Royce engine on the top of that almost $200 million aircraft right there, not necessarily the guy replacing it or the girl replacing it, but the person doing the inspection might be 21 years old, okay? It is very, very impressive. To the junior officers and aircrew, thank you all for the tireless hard work while sustaining forward operations. It is lost on no one that you are currently in a shore tour, and we're still trying to get this manpower model right. I can't thank you enough for the professionalism, dauntless spirit to send the jet on station, and the many, many laughs around the office, frequently at snakes in my expense. Thank you for keeping it real. The chiefs, mess, and department heads, not in my entire career have I seen a group of chiefs and department heads work more closely and more seamlessly. Despite our daily process of new discoveries, you are always trying to find a way to innovate and stay positive to support the front office and the rest of this team who actually do the hard work. To the Squadron Augmentation Unit, Commanding Officer Matthew Romero, where are you? There we go, sir. All right. You are the actual senior pilot of this squadron. We could not have done this without you and all of your reservists. You've been the bedrock of expertise, senior wisdom, and we are all so lucky to have the reservist here. Folks, I need to take a moment to point out that about 30 of these officers are airline pilots that might have flown you in here last night. They are bankers, homemakers, dentists, consultants with major international firms, and they throw on a uniform coming in here to serve their country, very frequently taking a pay cut in order to do so. We couldn't be more grateful for the patriotism and civil experience that they share with us on a more than monthly basis. To Lieutenant Commander Alec Terry. Alec, you out there, buddy? All right. And all the BAMSD team, you are the silent professionals, not only doing great work in CENTCOM, but also setting the standard for us to model and move forward as we open up Triton operations in the 5th Fleet. You are always ready to flex, and the ability to execute in support of Operation Allies Refuge is one for the history books. Alec, I never thought you and I would be back in that sandy place together. I know that Tara was probably upset that I asked you to go somewhere with rockets whizzing past your head, but here we were a decade later, and I thank you for answering the call when we so desperately needed your leadership. Dr. Lieutenant Hiroho, thank you for keeping us well. Thank you for stopping by my office to check on my blood pressure. I truly believe that the medical staff have had the biggest challenge of the last 2 years in the U.S. military. And I want you to know before you depart the Navy to go become George Clooney, the rest of us are very grateful for your service. To the Northrop Grumman team, Uncle Joe Ott, Usher, Brian Ratty, to the PMA team with Captains Gare, Thomas, Commanders Banana, Brains, Mongo. Those are some great call signs right there. Too many others to name between all of you. We could not be in a better place without the transparency, trust, sense of urgency, and teamwork to bring IFC-4 online. Commander Williams is the absolute right guy to make this happen, and I can't wait to see what all of you accomplish together between the Northrop Grumman L3 262 19 team over the next year. My mentors, my goodness. I could not be more fortunate to be in a profession where I get to say that I didn't just enjoy my bosses, but there are some of them that I genuinely love. Captain Burns, Commodores Patrick, Robinson, my old skippers, Captain Zematis, Commander Hender, too many more along the way. BZ, you are a stud. Vice Admiral Lindsay, I enjoyed carrying your briefcase across the globe, sir, and always making sure that you had a hot cup of coffee or a cold Diet Coke, depending on the time of day. But most of all, I am absolutely grateful for the countless hours I was able to listen to you speak on integrity and making sure you developed everyone under your cognizance to work towards becoming a more complete person. Thank you. I got lucky to look up to so many great officers, but more importantly, find people who have never lost sight and never let me lose sight of why we do this demanding profession: God, family, and country. My buddies, I frequently tell Sarah that my last 18 years in the Navy are kind of a lot like when you go off to summer camp as a little kid. I always come home and say, let me talk about my new best friend every tour I go on. Boyani, you've been with me from the beginning, and if I ever really had to hide a body, you were absolutely the guy that I would call. Jay-Z, Alec, Doug, too bad Bob, Scott, Ronnie couldn't be here, but there are too many people from our first tour as Red Lancers to even name. Lisa, you there? There we go, Lisa, how are you doing? All right, Lisa, you were a breath of fresh air. When we were almost sleeping at work during the campaigns in Libya and Syria, you're a wonderful person. Thank you for always being there. Brooks, you are the broest of bros. Thank you for teaching me air-to-air refueling and not letting me run into the back of that tanker. Stuckey, Dr. Stuckey, Dr. Stuckenberg, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel, also, sorry. You kept me sane, and you were my closest confidant at the State Department. I thank you for that. And now to this squadron, sandwiched between Skipper Twitch. Twitch, did you make it? Flight got canceled, unreal. And Peace Skipper Snakes, Skipper Thorny, Mass Chief Small, Sinclair, Hardin, Schellenberger. Wow, I got really lucky. My family, and now I get to do something fun. Please give a round of applause to my brother Andy and his wife Lisa, who are currently celebrating their 17th anniversary with us today. It was always had nothing to do with my brother. Thank you very much for sharing your very special day with us. Lisa and Liz, thank you for putting up with my brothers. We Conlon men can be a real challenge. Mikey, Addison, Ellie, Turner, Katie, William, Henry, thank you all for making it here. It's wonderful to see the family together. And now to my own two boys, Hunter and August. I am incredibly proud of what fine young men you are growing into and how well you take care of, respect, and love your mother. She is the most important thing in my life, and I'm glad to see that reflected in you. Tyson, Tabitha. I apologize for distracting your daddy so frequently from the very important task of playing with both of you. Just please know this. Your daddy is actually a superhero. There are people around the world who are depending on him to keep them safe and make sure that they make it home to their little boys and their little girls and their mommies and daddies. Mom, Dad, I would not have amounted to much without your guidance and love. Mom, you are the most resilient, indomitable spirit, and your example, or maybe it's a genetic trait, has served me well. Dad, I've come to believe that compassion is a tremendous part of leadership, and you modeled it well. Both of your actions demonstrated that our greatest fulfillment in life would come from our relationships with others. What an incredible foundation to start life. Jay, Hayun, spectacular to see your family walk in the door and immediately become a part of the Big Red family. Jay, you have a master's degree in systems engineering from Johns Hopkins. I am a liberal arts major. This squadron is going to benefit immensely from your technical acumen at the exact right moment in our history. We're excited to see you and Snakes working together to carry this organization into the future. Tim, or Selena, there we go. First off, thank you for sharing him with us, and I'm sorry for sending him to California so frequently, but he never complained. Tim, seriously, you have been an incredible confidant, and as spread out as we've been across the planet, moving over 200 of our folks across the country and establishing operations in Japan, all of our personnel owe you, Master Chief, a tremendous debt of gratitude. Sarah, Heather, one of you went to Harvard, one of you is a medical doctor. Some of the junior officers frequently remind Snakes and I that you could have done a lot better for yourselves. You are both hilarious, selfless, and strong women who are completely dedicated to your families. Heather, thank you for putting up with all my phone calls. I'm sorry the phone went off all night. I could not have done this job without your husband, and I know that your husband could not have done his job without you. Thank you. Sarah, my bride. If I had to be on a desert island for the rest of my life, you are the one person that I'd want to be with. And it's not just because you're a beautiful woman. You are my best friend. Thank you for sticking with me these last 22 years. Thank you for being the consistency in our family for the last 2, maybe 17 of them. I wouldn't have been able to serve in this capacity if I did not have you on a daily basis. Snakes, COVID, finally getting off deck in Misawa, opening operations here at Naval Station Mayport, bringing Triton here on December 16th, inaugurating operations in the Atlantic, drawing down operations in CENTCOM, moving from one coast to another, typhoon season in the Philippine Sea, satellites, starting transition to IFC-4, I could go on. You are a good man. You care deeply about your family, your personnel, and the mission. I envy every sailor under your command, because I would be more than happy to work for you myself. Snakes, you have been my best friend and confidant this last year. I love you. This is extremely humbling. I have never been more dependent on so many people in my entire career. I couldn't be more grateful. Thank you. Now, VUP-19, what are we doing here? Why does this job matter? Why is this squadron at the cutting edge of future warfighting? Before I tell all of you why you're so awesome, we need to establish some ground assumptions for this last portion of my speech. I'm the commanding officer of the Navy's only operational, fully unmanned aviation squadron. which kind of feels like it's me against Tom Cruise right now. But, sorry, I lied. I said that was going to be the last reference. It wasn't. Whatever. All right. But if you'll bear with me for a few minutes, I'll share with you why, as a previously manned aviator, I have become so passionate about unmanned aviation that the two are not mutually exclusive, and why our mission matters so much for who we are and where we want to go as a military and a nation. In 17 days, this squadron will be reflecting on the 3rd anniversary of Iran having shot down one of our broad area maritime surveillance demonstrator aircraft, which did not look very different than the MQ-4 just sitting 100 feet away from you. Because no one was on board that aircraft, it was argued at the time that never before had an administration had so much discretion in how to respond to a hostile act. In the end, facing options which could result in significant collateral loss of life, an alternate response was chosen. This is part of the promise of unmanned systems. We were afforded the opportunity to de-escalate, to exercise restraint, whereas in the past we would have been compelled, bound by the rules of statecraft and the national interest, to respond with violence. But there's something deeper, something at the core of this very story, which gets at the heart of who we are as Americans and how our values are demonstrated in the development and the deployment of unmanned systems. We value the individual. We value human life more than stuff. That plane right there is expensive, but it's got no mother to grieve it. The Roman poet Horace wrote patriotic verses to the legions, telling them, Dulce et coram est, pro patria mori. How sweet and fitting it is to die for one's country. By the First World War, British soldier and poet Wilfred Owen, having witnessed the horrors of the Western Front, decried that there was little sweet and fitting about warfare. There is nothing romantic about warfare. It is cold, it is dark, it is cruel. If we are to emerge victorious in the battle space, we must place a premium on superior technology and reduce the risk to our greatest assets, our people. For us to win, we at VUP-19 must continue to pave the way not just for ourselves in fielding that technology, but for the future of unmanned naval aviation. This was transition for all of us. It was challenging for everyone to come here from a rich 100-year-long cultural heritage of manned aviation and press the I believe button. It was difficult to come here and learn the importance of critical new roles. IT-1 Severin keeping our fob up. AT-1 Settle telling the pilot 12,000 miles away that the plane is safe to go flying. Lieutenant Caleb Gerard making sure that the satellite footprint overlays our flight path. In my time here, I've witnessed a shift. We've had some catastrophes and reactions which rightfully hindered our ability to get off deck. However, you saw the importance of leaning forward. You saw that the more relevant and ready this aircraft is, the more we'll be capable of supporting and protecting our fellow brothers and sisters in arms. VUP-19, war is our business. Getting this plane in the air is how we do our part in the fight. Let's be clear. Part of that goal is that we employ attritable assets in order that we may emerge victorious at the cost of less American lives. If you pay attention to everything going on in the world right now, compounded by a host of unprecedented environmental, epidemic, energy, and economic pressures, how many horsemen were there? You may wonder if it's not 1914 and we're looking down the barrel of 1917. You may wonder if it's not 1937 and we're looking down the barrel of 1941. I regret finishing on such a sobering note. However, I am absolutely convinced, witnessing the immense capability, steadfast resolve, and fighting spirit demonstrated by this squadron the last year, that VUP-19 is going to be ready to put the crosshairs on America's enemies. Yours is the profession of arms. This is where your nation needs your mind right now. And I'm absolutely convinced that that with Commanding Officer Stephen Von Williams at the helm of this fine organization, you have the warfighter we all need you to lead. Godspeed, Parabellum.
Commander Conlon will now read his orders.
I will now read my orders. Beeper's Order 104519, Detached Commanding Officer, Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19, report to USS John C. Stennis for duty in a flying status not involving flying.
Commander Williams will now read his orders.
Beeper's Order 242619, when directed by Reporting Senior, report as Commanding Officer to Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19, Jacksonville, Florida, for duty in a flying status involving flying.
Skipper Williams' wife, Heather, will now pin on the Command at Sea pin. The Command at Sea insignia consists of a 5-pointed star superimposed on anchor flukes and a partially unfurled commissioning pennant showing 6 stars. The insignia is worn on the right breast by all officers presently in command at sea. The 6 stars at the top of the insignia are symbolic of the first 6 vessels of the United States Navy, which were launched over a period lasting from 1797 to 1800. They include the USS United States, the USS Constellation, USS Constitution, USS Chesapeake, USS Congress, and USS President. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will direct your attention across the hangar, Tyson and Tabitha Williams will now reveal the newest MQ-4 Titan paint job. Ladies and gentlemen, Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19.
Admiral Lindsay, Commodore Bowman, Deputy Tartaglia, Captain Burns, and esteemed guests, thank you for the opportunity to publicly offer some words of thanks. Skipper Conlon, Commander Master Chief Hardin, Maintenance Master Chief Schellenberger, XO Kim, and I could not be more grateful to be led by such a supportive district. I am humbled by the outgoing skipper and both thrilled and inspired that I have been such competent and diverse gentlemen to work with as we take VUP-19 forward. And while I am the first person of color to lead this organization, I am certainly not the last. Master Chief Hardin, thank you for your steadfast guidance. Thank you for telling me we'll get it done. You are an amazing friend and leader. Corona and Grenadine forever. Selena, thank you for being here today, and thank you for sharing Tim with us. The X and I would not have survived this past year without his guidance, and we are certain he would not have survived without yours. We all owe you a lot. The X, my boss, friend, and brother. The first thing I asked my mother for as a kid growing up was a brother. It took 40 years, but the best things in life come to those that wait. You have left big shoes to fill, but the women and men of VUP-19 will ensure I fill them. You are a compassionate, energetic, and tireless warfighter. Equally important, you are a wonderful husband, father, and friend. Our command does know the sacrifice and effort you endure bringing VUP-19 to heights we've achieved. I am forever grateful to have had you as a mentor, and I am so fortunate this job afforded me the opportunity to make such a great friend. Sarah, August, and Hunter, I'm sorry, but not sorry for calling so much. Honestly, talking to you while you got your husband on the phone has been some of my fondest memories. Thank you. Mom, thank you. I miss Dad tremendously. Obviously, I wouldn't be here without the two of you, but literally, I would not be here without the two of you. Thank you. Tabitha and Tyson, you are great kids. I'm very proud of how well you take care of Mom and me. Heather, I love you. I know the late nights are rough. However, there should be payback for residency. Seriously, thank you for being my rock. You are my head. Dave-O, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the first Naval Flight Officer qualified as a pilot in trouble. There is no mountain too high this man can't climb. We go way back as far as lieutenants at VP-30, and we are going to take it to the enemy. Ayun, June, Anna, and Arya, welcome back to VUP-19. Heather and I are thrilled for our families to do this again together. Big Red, if I could sum you all up in one word, it would be resilient. You have taken Skipper Conlon's vision of lean forward and have made it your own. You have persevered through all challenges, both foreign and domestic, and I could not be prouder. As I take the baton from Skipper Conlon today, all that I ask is that you continue to stay focused at the task at hand of finishing our deployment strong. Know that it is welcome to sometimes take a knee, because we are warfighters. We are a team. We are a family. We are Big Red. Now let's kick some tires and light some fires.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the benediction and remain standing for the departure of the official party. Military, please cover. Father Darius will now deliver the benediction.
Let us pray. Almighty and sovereign God, in you all things come to pass, and in you all things come into being. May the experiences of the commanding officer, Commander Stephen Williams in the Navy, now serve as the foundation and bedrock for him to boldly face the hopes and challenges of the future. Through his accomplishments, may we be inspired to strive for excellence in all that we do and hope to undertake. Pour out your favor upon him and his family. May you please grant him wisdom as he bears the weight of his new role as a commanding officer. Blessing today, outgoing CO Commander Brian Conlon and his family for the future endeavors. This we ask through the glory of your great name, forever and ever. Amen.
Poston, post aside, boys.
Patrol and Reconnaissance Wing 11, departing. Naval Support Activity Washington, departing. Commander, United States Navy, departing. Unmanned Patrol Squadron 19, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Skipper Williams and Commander Conlon, I would like to thank you for sharing in this special occasion. The MQ-4 Triton static display will be available immediately following. We ask that you remain outside the orange cones and take children by the hand. Thank you and have a great red day.